just got to Sitka. Well, we're going to be pulling in within like the next hour, hour and a half. We just survived another incredibly rocky night. Like, I woke up pretty much every hour. Arjuna barely got sleep because we were just like swaying in bed, kind of like rolling back and forth. There were so many things, like the patio furniture was like shifting around. There were things in our bathroom that were falling. So it was just a rocky night, but I'm so glad that the captain warned us well in advance because we were able to take our Dramamine. I had my little Mighty patch on. Like, this is the combo because I am such a sensitive girly, and I haven't, well, I'm not going to say I haven't yet because I don't want to jinx it, but they've been really, really helping me so far on this trip. And then also the All Clear like herbal inhaler and the ginger chews. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, and if you're not sure what to pack for your trip, just make sure you check out my last video because that is my entire video where I talk about my whole packing list and my itinerary and stuff like that. So these are mentioned in there, and some other stuff too that I think are still essential while I'm on this trip. But so for today, I've realized I forgot to give you another check-in last night. I told you don't hold me to it. I'm just gonna stop saying I'll see you at this time. I'll just see you when I see you with these vlogs, honestly. But yesterday ended up being really nice. We had a perfect weather day, which is funny because now we have like the cloudiest, foggiest, wettest day, which is okay. But yesterday was so beautiful, and we just got to enjoy the scenic passageways and just really enjoy being out here in Alaska in nature, going on parts that you can only reach by boat. The last time I saw you guys, we were getting ready to head to the library, which we did. It was really nice, super relaxing. And then we pretty much just got ready for dinner after that. We really wanted to do kind of a nicer outfit tonight to take some photos on the boat. And so we ended up taking a couple of like the stations that they set up with their photographers, but then we ended up finding their photography art studio, and we did an actual really fun session with that. So we should be able to see those pictures later on this evening. And then we went to dinner. I think it was actually my favorite dinner for the entire trip so far. It was this really delicious salmon fillet on top of like a risotto that was so good, and it also had little bay shrimps on it, but I gave those to Arjuna, of course, because I don't eat shrimp and he loves shrimps, so I gave that to him. And then he absolutely loved his food. He got a different type of cod and he loved that one. It came with roasted potatoes and some vegetables, and it was just absolutely fantastic. I wish I could have that dinner every single night because we actually like ate the plates clean. And then after dinner, we decided to catch the show. I think her name is Angie. She is a soul performer, and she actually performed as Aretha Franklin. I think she said for like 6 years touring, but she's originally from Australia, and she is just an incredible soul singer. So we watched her 45-minute set, and she was singing like some Aretha Franklin, some Etta James, just a bunch of great Black soul artists, and she did her thing. She was really, really good, and I'm excited because she has another show in 2 nights, or not tonight, but tomorrow night, that we want to catch again because it's a different show. So we're a big fan of hers. Bless you. But yeah, so we're a big fan of hers, and we're so glad we ended up going to that show. And then on Holland American cruises, I guess it's pretty standard for them to have an orange party because that's their like cruise line color. So I didn't get the memo, and I don't have anything really orange anyway, neither does Arjuna, but they had an orange themed party where a ton of people dressed up, and they went to the Rolling Stone Lounge and had a huge party. And we had planned to check that out after the Angie performance show, and it was packed. It was so crowded in there, and we just didn't want to be in that tight crowd because we've seen how some of these people are, and it's questionable. Some of these people with their coughs and stuff. I don't know, man. But anyways, by that time it was like 10 o'clock anyway. So we were like, let's just call it a night. We took our time getting ready, like doing our evening skincare and washing up and stuff. Because we just knew that today we had an early wake-up call. So it's currently 7 a.m. right now. I've been up since about like 6:30 or so, just getting ready for the day because we get to Sitka, Alaska. This is our day 5. We get there at 8 a.m. So that's when we can start getting off the boat. And then we have to meet for our excursion at 10:15 a.m. Because our excursion is about like 4.5 hours, By the time we get back to the boat and like get back from our excursion, it's going to pretty much be time for us to have to go back onto the ship. So we wanted to make sure we try to get off the boat as soon as we can, so we have at least like an hour and a half to just walk around Sitka and kind of like maybe do a little bit of souvenir shopping and just enjoy the town before our excursion even begins. But if you're curious of what our excursion is today, we are doing the Sea Otter Quest and Fortress of the Bear. So basically what we're going to be doing is loading up in a nice, like, well, I don't know how nice it is, but we're going to be loading up in a shuttle and driving around Sitka looking for certain wildlife. And then that drive is going to take us to the Fortress of the Bear, which I think is like it's basically just like a place where they help bears who have kind of had difficult interactions with humans or who are like struggling adjusting to like the human animal life. I don't know exactly what it is, kind of like a sanctuary of sorts, but so we're gonna go there and see some really cute bears, which was like my number one thing to do on this trip, was to see bears because I love bears so much. And then after that, we're gonna get back for another scenic drive on that same shuttle, which will then take us to a boat. And that boat is going to kind of just ferry us around the water to spot some more wildlife that's more marine based, so like sea otters and stuff like that. Of course, it's not a guarantee what animals and wildlife we'll be able to see while we're out there, especially because today it's very cloudy, it's very rainy, so we're not sure exactly what's going to be out. I'm just hoping that it is not a rocky ride, because if anything, if it was like how it was last night on the boat, I'm a bit worried. I might get a little motion sick or something. So let's just pray that the waters have calmed down, and the waters will calm down by this afternoon when we're going to be on that boat, because I don't want to get sick. I really don't want to feel that bad motion sickness and nausea. So wish us luck when it comes to that. But yeah, and that's pretty much going to be it for the excursion today. I think we get back to the boat around 3 p.m. And so once that happens, then my goal is to give you a check-in once we get back from the excursion. I don't know when that'll be, but that's my goal. So I won't give you exact time, but I will say that I promise. Well, I won't promise. But I am planning to give you another check-in when we get back on the ship, let you know how the excursion went and what we're going to be doing for the rest of the evening. So yeah, I'm pretty much done getting ready. We're going to go grab some breakfast at the little marketplace area and get ready to get off this boat right at 8 a.m. because those lines to get off the boat are extensive. Like, they are long lines. Luckily, they go fast. They have a really good system here, but they are pretty long. So we're going to do that. I'm going to finish getting dressed. Arjuna's going to finish getting ready. And then yeah, we're gonna get ready to go see some bears and some otters, hopefully. So enjoy this montage of our day out in Sitka, and I'll see you later. We made it to Sitka. It is raining, and it's going to be raining all day because it mostly rains here, especially in the spring, as we learned from our tour guide on the bus.
We also learned that the proposal wasn't filmed here, like I said.
Well, I believe you, but I'm just sad to learn it for sure. Dang it.
Sitka, we have two main types. We have bull kelp and we have giant kelp.
Really great in this weather, by the way.
You just have the boat still because we don't have the colors. Looks like we have another bald eagle crossing our path around our 12:30 going right to left. Now another part of whale sense is going to also be
Yeah, if you are here, get the halibut fish and chips. It's to die for, right?
So let's go get some more.
All right, y'all, as you can see, we are back on the boat. It is 3:12 and our all aboard time is 3:30, so we made it back with plenty of time to spare. I just want to give you a quick recap of what you just saw because we had one of the best days ever. Again, I feel like I've been saying that a lot while we've been on this trip, but honestly, if every day of your Alaskan cruise isn't the best day ever, then I don't know, maybe we're doing it wrong. But again, we had another fantastic day here in Sitka. As you can see right now, it is no longer raining, which is great because we did catch a good amount of rain, but it wasn't too terrible. And honestly, Arjuna and I had planned and prepared for that. So we were well prepped for the rainy weather that we had today, but that didn't stop us from having fun at all. To start off our day here in Sitka, we arrived at about 8 a.m. and we were prepped and ready to go right at 8 to get off the boat and start exploring. So we explored right at the port area that's actually like right behind me right here. You can see like the port area. There's just a couple of little souvenir shops, but also one fantastic restaurant. I'll tell you about that soon once I get kind of towards the end of the day. But we just explored around there a little bit, and then we were able to catch a free shuttle that took us into the downtown area. It was only about like a 5 to 10 minute bus ride. So that wasn't too bad because that's where we needed to go in order to catch our shuttle for our excursion. Okay, let me actually just tell you about this restaurant right now because Arjuna's here with me, and We just got some lunch and we ordered a halibut fish and chips from this place. And it is the best fish and chips we've ever had in our lives. I don't even really eat fish and chips, but it looked so good and it looked so fresh. And we were right, it was good and fresh. And we wish we had gotten 2 or 3 more plates because it is fantastic. We're just sharing the one. Let me see.
Oh, we're sharing?
Yeah, we've been sharing, but they gave us 3 thick slices. Also, sorry for all that background noise. All right, we got the reveal here. Oh my God, it is so good. Like, it's not super greasy. It's breaded to perfection. The fries are cooked like incredibly. And it's just so good. So if you are coming here, to Alaska, in particular porting at Sitka, just check out the restaurant. Like, it's literally as soon as you get off the boat, just to your right. It is fantastic. Definitely get it. It's so worth it. It's the best fish and chips we've had. But anyway, let me tell you a little bit about how our day started once we got into the downtown area. So once we got to downtown, we were able to walk around. Some of the shops were just opening up or they weren't quite open yet. So we did get to step into a few places. We did get our classic souvenirs, which is getting the magnets, some stickers, things like that. So just a couple little souvenirs. Once we did that for about an hour and a half, it was time to head back to kind of the Centennial Hall, which is kind of the main meeting point where we're going to meet for our shuttle to take us to the first portion of our excursion, which was Fortress of the Bear. So Fortress of the Bear is exactly kind of what it sounds like. It's basically a sanctuary for the bears, as I was telling you earlier, where any bears that kind of had lost their mothers, went through some trauma as cubs, things like that, they were rescued and taken to this sanctuary where they take care of them properly. They have a really good diet. They mimic salmon running. They do a lot of things to take care of the bears. And so we just got to spend about a half an hour there. I wish it was a lot more, but that half hour was really nice. We got to see a lot of really cute bears. My favorite one was Toby. She is a nice brown bear. She is a husky baby. She's a thick girl, and she was just super cute. And we also got to see one of their black bears, which was so cool and really nice to see. So I think we saw about 5 bears while we were there, and it was really just nice to be there. I love bears. Bears are my spirit animal. I've always been a fan of bears, and so to be able to be kind of that close to them in a really nice habitat area was amazing. And honestly, one of my favorite parts of the trip so far. And then after that, it was time for us to get picked back up from the shuttle bus and take a drive kind of back to where we started in a way. The boating tour that we did, which was like a wildlife sighting boat tour, is called Alan Marie Tours. You can probably check them out and book it yourself if you don't do it through an excursion. But they were fantastic. Everyone on the ship was super knowledgeable. They had really fun tidbits that they were sharing with us. And we got, according to them, one of the best days of wildlife sightings that they've had so far. So we got to see like 3 or 4 gray whales, which was incredible. We got to see a raft of sea otters. And if you don't know what a raft of sea otters is, basically what they call a grouping of sea otters, because when they sleep and they are grouped together, they link arms and they kind of form their own raft so that they don't float away from each other while they're sleeping. So we saw a raft of sea otters and we saw a ton of bald eagles. We've seen bald eagles and different types of eagles all throughout our day here at Sitka. So we saw a lot of wildlife and it was just phenomenal. Of course, we did catch some weather. We caught some rain and stuff, but when we were sitting watching the whales, it kind of slowed to a drizzle. So it was almost as if Mother Nature knew what we were trying to do today and she delivered. And I couldn't have been more happy with how that turned out. So yeah, that excursion portion was about 2 hours. So we were out on the water for 2 hours, and luckily they took us right back to the boat, so we didn't have to worry about catching a shuttle from downtown to get back to the port. They just took us right up to the boat, and we were able to get off, have about an hour until the all aboard time, which gave us time to go and get that nice fish and chips bowl. And now we're here. We're going to be taking off pretty soon at 3:30. And so for right now, we're just going to sit overlooking this beautiful view since the rain has stopped, enjoy our fish and chips, and kind of hang out on the boat for the rest of the day. I'll show you a little bit of what we're going to be doing, and I might do a check-in later on tonight, and I might not. If not, I will see you in the morning. But just enjoy the rest of our day here in Sitka on board the Westerdam. So nice to kick my feet up. Got my best friend here, my husband. We got our nice fish and chip. Excuse me? He's trying to have it all for himself because he knows I don't normally eat fish and chips, so he's used to having it all to himself. Oh, yeah. Excuse me? Caring is caring. And then, of course, we have our beautiful view. So this is going to be us for a little while probably before we go and hit the spa. So let's eat.
Which piece do you want?
Yes.
You want the big one?
No, I'll take the small one.
Sure.
Yeah. A little bit of that lemon. See if I can get the crunch on the camera. Look at that. Oh yeah, you see it. You see it. Ketchikan. It is finally day 6. I can't believe we're already on day 6. This trip has been going by like crazy fast, and I'm actually really sad because this is our second to last stop, but it is going to be one of the stops that I'm most excited for. I mean, I'm excited for all of our stops, but this one is something completely new to me. So before, I have done kayaking, which we did. I've done like boat tours and whale watching, and I have seen some bears. But today, we're doing adventure cart riding through Ketchikan. So basically, an adventure cart is like an ATV essentially, and I've always wanted to do an ATV ride, so we're going to be doing that today through the forest of Ketchikan. So I'm just so excited for that. We did wake up super early because we get to this port at 7 a.m. and we have to leave by 12:30 p.m. and our excursion meets at 7:45. So we just don't have a lot of time, so we woke up around 5:45 a.m. to get ready. It's currently 6:30 a.m. So we need to like go get some breakfast and then get ready to leave the ship so we can at least walk around for like 30 minutes before it's time to meet up for the excursion point. But quick recap on last night. last time I saw you, like face to face, last time we saw each other face to face, I just got back from our excursion over in Sitka, and that was awesome. But it definitely exhausted us because we did have an early day that morning, so we really kept a laid back night. We ended up going to dinner at Morimoto, which is their special Japanese dinner for that evening at the Pinnacle Grill, which was really good. It did take a little while. We did order a lot of food, I guess, but it took us about 2 hours for the entire dining experience. So we did that pretty much from 6 to 8 p.m. And then when we got back to our room, we found out that we kind of got bumped from an excursion that we planned to do for Victoria. So we had planned to do a high tea and a scenic drive at the Pendry Hotel when we get to Victoria, British Columbia. However, they left us a note saying that not enough people signed up for that excursion, and so it was canceled. So then we were kind of scrambling, trying to figure out what we wanted to do, and we found out that they have basically the same thing at the Empress Hotel, which is another nice hotel in Victoria, Canada, but there were only 2 spots left, so we hightailed it over to the customer service desk, and they were able to book that for us. So we're not going to be able to go to the Pendry this time around in Victoria, but we are going to the Empress Hotel, and we are still going to be doing a high tea situation. So I'm still excited about that. A little bit bummed because I really wanted to go to the Pendry, but that's okay, you know, it worked out. So yeah, after we did that, we then went back to the art studio to check on the photos that we took, because we did a little photo shoot the day before, and we ended up purchasing some of the photos because they were actually really nice. The packages were, they gave me sticker shock. I'll just say that they gave me sticker shock, and I don't exactly like their airbrushing style. Like, they airbrush the heck out of our faces. Like, we don't, like, there was a lot of photos where I felt like I didn't really look like myself, but we did find some good ones. So we ended up getting a package of some prints and some digital downloads. So we did get that. And then after that, we were just tired. We went to bed and like laid down at 9:30 p.m. and Arjuna took a Dramamine because it was another night of choppy seas. So he passed out. I just took a regular Dramamine with ginger so that like it didn't have me drowsy, but it covered me through the night. So I was fine. And then, yeah, and now we're here, and it's 6:30 a.m., and we're getting ready to go. Arjuna just finished getting dressed, which means it's time for us to head to breakfast and then get off the ship. So I will see you in Ketchikan. We're out here about to adventure cart on this Polaris vehicle. I don't think I'll be able to really record much, but just know we're here and we're excited. That's what we got. We're getting all geared up right now. It is raining, so I think it's supposed to be pretty muddy out here. This is the ride, a Polaris RZR. Try to record what I can. This is our setup in here. Got gloves. Arjuna's driving first. He's checking his goggles, make sure they're goggling. Good. And then there's also like a back seat, but no one's gonna be in the back seat for obvious reasons. So yeah. Oh my God. Oh yeah.
Oh no.
It's okay. That's why I didn't bring the white one. How you doing, babe? Driving so far? Oh yeah.
Well, I thought this was black.
The views. We're up here in Ketchikan, Alaska. Look at where we are. Where are we at? There's our cart. And there's Arjuna. He's a little cold and wet. Going on a little hike. Oh wow, look at
Crazy.
I can imagine on a clear day how cool this is.
Oh, it's so pretty. That happens like
Got some chocolate. Just wandering through Ketchikan. Pizza. Bear. It is just too beautiful out here. We are leaving Ketchikan on our way to Victoria, British Columbia right now. I wanted to come out here on the veranda to give you guys a little bit of an update. So as you can tell, we are back on the boat. We had an incredibly adventurous morning there in Ketchikan in Alaska. And we just had, again, we had a really fun time doing the adventure carts on the Polaris Razor. I know I said RZR before, but it's a Polaris Razor. It was so much fun. It was intense though. We started off with Arjuna driving, and it was definitely wet. It was definitely raining and muddy and windy. And so we definitely got some crazy conditions. Even our tour guide was saying how he didn't expect, and he's never actually seen this many puddles and mud and just like wetness on the ground. So we had quite the adventure in that cart. It was lots of puddles that were filled with muddy water. And Arjuna and I said, you know what, if we're going to get wet already, if we're going to get dirty already, we might as well go 110%. And so we hit those puddles hard. We hit those potholes hard. We got soaked and drenched. We even got soaked to the point that we had like mud in our teeth. They're a little bit clean now, but we got basically like mud masked because of how many times we splashed ourselves because we just decided to go full force into these huge puddles of muddy waters. And it was honestly totally worth it. Of course it was cold, but we did prepare really well. So we stayed pretty warm, but we stayed mostly dry because we did wear water resistant clothing and gear. So that was good. Definitely recommend doing that. I do wish that we had some kind of like face cover, like kind of a ski mask to cover our like nose and mouths, because that I would have preferred if I didn't get, you know, mud in my mouth, but that's okay. That's neither here nor there. We survived. It's just muddy water. Like nobody's going to get hurt from that, but we made it. We had Arjuna driving the first trip. So he drove to like the first halfway point, and we did make a couple of different stops while we're on the road, on the tour. And we stopped at a waterfall that we like parked and walked to. And then we stopped at a lot of scenic overlooks. Of course, it was rainy and a bit overcast and foggy, so we didn't get like the best views, but it was still just incredible to be there in the Tongass National Rainforest, seeing the foliage, seeing some waterfalls, seeing some of the views. And it was just like, it was just so much fun. I think that's like the first excursion that we did where I felt like Arjuna really let go and had so much fun. And he just like literally let it rip. And then on the way back, I did the driving. And of course, I ended up driving on the part where we were going uphill and we were going through some like crazy terrain and going over a bunch of rocks. So I got to drive on a really bumpy ride. So yeah, overall, that was about an hour and 45 minutes that we were driving. So it was pretty cool. We got back, we got a couple of souvenirs, we walked around the town a little bit more, and then it was time for us to head back into the boat for the all aboard time at 12:30. So we were literally only there for about 5 hours. There was some discrepancy kind of getting off the boat. We were supposed to get off at 7, but they were having some issues with the gangway of like getting us off the boat and into Ketchikan. But they eventually got that sorted by like 7:20. So we only had about 20 minutes before we got to meet up with our tour group to just kind of walk around. But we got what we needed. We got some souvenirs, and then we had some time when we got back to walk around, like I said, before we had to get back on the boat. Then when we got back on the boat, we did have some lunch that we had picked up while we were in town in Ketchikan. We got some fish and chips. Again, it was like a halibut fish and chips. It wasn't as good as it was in Sitka, but it was decent. And then I got a little breakfast burrito that wasn't great, but it's okay. We tried it out. We supported some local businesses, so that's all right by me. Then afterwards, we finally caught the Step 1 dance show. This has been a show that we've been trying to catch for many days, but it seems like every time they had their scheduled evening performance, it was actually scheduled on the days that we had rocky waters and were like kind of tossing and turning at sea. So their performances had to be canceled because it was unsafe for them to perform when the boat's literally rocking side by side. So they ended up rescheduling it today for 1 p.m. And so we finally got to watch that performance, which was really fun. It was a multiple dance numbers really, that were all inspired by different instruments or different groupings of instruments. So we had like a special dance for the piano, for the electric guitar, which is my favorite, for other types of different instruments, even like a big band one and vocals. So that was really cool. I'm glad we finally got to watch that show because we've been trying to watch that show forever, and I'm really happy that the dancers also got to finally perform it and give that to us because they've already had 4 shows canceled since we've been on the boat, and it's already day 6, so they didn't really have much time left. But yeah, we did get up pretty early, like just before 6 a.m., around 6 a.m. today. So I think this is going to be a nice time for us to kind of take a little bit of a siesta. I think we're going to just kind of nap for a little while and wake up for doing some of the afternoon tea that they have and maybe do some more reading today, just because we're pretty much going to be on the ship now until 8 p.m. tomorrow when we get to Victoria, British Columbia, which is our final destination for this voyage, which is really sad to say. I can't believe so many days have gone by so quickly, and I just want to do it again. I don't want to leave. I want to go back to Sitka and get that halibut fish and chips again, and I want to see the bears and other stuff and go back kayaking. So I'm really sad that this trip is like starting to come to an end, and it's really starting to feel like it's about to come to an end. So we're just really going to be trying to soak up as much as we can and do as much as we can, but also still making sure that we are giving ourselves time to just rest. But yeah, so just for the rest of this afternoon, we're just going to keep it low key, do some like relaxing things, take a little nap, hang out. We do have a special dining experience tonight at one of the restaurants here that's like not their main dining hall. It's called the Pinnacle Grill. So we have a special dining reservation that we're going to go to tonight. And then we're also going to catch another performance by that Angie singer, that soul singer that I talked to you guys about before. She has another performance tonight. So we're going to check that out. And because we don't actually have to wake up at the butt crack of dawn tomorrow, I think we're actually going to use tonight to hang out, party a little bit, go to some bars, maybe hit up the casino, and just let loose tonight because we don't have to be up early for an excursion tomorrow. So we're going to have some fun tonight, and I'm going to show you some of that. So let me go ahead, take a nap, recharge, and I'll see you in a little bit. Good morning from somewhere outside of British Columbia. I think we're a little bit near Vancouver. It is honestly a beautiful day. Like, it is so blue out here. Like, can you see how beautifully blue this is right now? I'm actually really sad because it is our last full official day of this cruise. We are currently cruising for the majority of the day until about 8 p.m. until we get to our final port destination, which is Victoria, British Columbia. And then we go to bed basically when we come back to the ship, and then we wake up and we're in Seattle, and that's the end of the cruise. So we're just trying to maximize the most of our last day here at sea and on the ship. So we ended up just kind of hanging out last night, you know, doing what we like to do. We got some food, we watched the amazing singer Angie perform, and then we hung out at the gallery bar and we played some more Uno. So literally like nothing crazy. And then we just kind of fell asleep at our leisure. I don't even know what time we fell asleep, but I did have like, it was a bit rocky last night, so I didn't sleep that well. That's why I probably look a little bit tired, but that's okay because I don't care how tired I am. I'm just going to soak up this day and really try and maximize this and relax as much as I can today. So that's what we're doing. We got up this morning a little bit later, like probably around 9. And then we had our breakfast reservation at 10. So we had some breakfast. I just got some nice pancakes and eggs and bacon. And Arjuna got this like nice crab and smoked salmon like patty, like little like cakes, I guess, kind of like a crab cake. But he really liked that. And then he also got a cod sandwich because it was like an Alaskan brunch theme today. So we had that. That was really good. And now we are just hanging out. I think I want to let my food digest, and I think we're going to go read on the deck that's kind of on like the top floor that's overlooking everything because it's just a really beautiful day. It's not terribly cold outside right now, which is nice. It's definitely chilly, but that's all right. So we're just going to hang out there, do a little bit of reading, let our food digest, and then I'm gonna hit the gym before we have our massages today. We decided to pre-book our massages before we actually even got on this cruise for this last day at sea because we had a feeling that we were going to be a little bit tired and our bodies were going to be worn just from all the different physical activities that we were doing on excursions. So we had booked a nice 75-minute massage, a couples massage that we're going to do later this afternoon. We're going to have one more time at the dining hall for dinner, and I think we're going to go to the spa one last time. So yeah, we have just like a bunch of different relaxation things planned for the rest of this morning and afternoon. And then we also want to make sure that we pack our bags and get everything sorted before we get off the ship to Victoria, because we get there at about 8 p.m. and we don't get back to the ship until about 11:30 p.m. And in order for them to kind of sort our baggage for us so we can pick it up after we get off the boat, it just needs to be outside of our room by midnight. So we're just hoping we can get everything sorted before we even leave off the ship to Victoria, so we don't have to come back and worry about packing in 30 minutes because that's just too much to think about. So we're going to use a little bit of the time probably right before we get off the ship to just organize our bags, get packed up and ready to get our bags taken for departure, which is sad to think about. I don't want this vacation to end because it's honestly been such a dream vacation, but I don't want to waste too much time chit-chatting with you all right now. I just want you to see how beautiful this day is and show you our last relaxing day on the ship for this awesome Alaskan adventure cruise. So let's just go read on the deck. It's me, it's me, 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 me. Ooh. Wow. I'm literally sitting here right now reading my Kindle and just overlooking this beautiful day on the top deck. Sun is shining. Of course, it's cold out here. I mean, we're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean and off the coast of like Vancouver right now. But yeah, it's a little bit chilly, but the sun is so perfect right now. So it feels nice to just be bundled up out here, soaking up some sun, looking at this beautiful blue sky and blue water, reading a good book, and hanging out with my husband. He's a little bit cold right now too, but he's just playing this phone game that he's been really into. So that's his relaxing time and this is mine. So I think we'll just be out here for a little bit till my food digests like I was telling you. And then I'm going to go read some more while I think walking on the treadmill, just getting some steps in. So yeah, I'll be out here for a little while. And honestly, if I could, I'd be out here forever. But like, look at this view. What more could a girl need? Like, honestly, what more?
Time to pack up.
All right, y'all, I want to do a quick intro because we just got to Victoria, British Columbia, which is basically Canada, kind of in the region near Vancouver. So we are finally here at our last destination. Like I told you before, we're not able to do the Pendry high tea because there wasn't enough people who signed up for that, so they canceled it. But luckily, we were able to claim the last 2 spots in the Empress Hotel high tea, so we're going to be doing that. We only have a couple of hours here, so we're going to make the most of it. It's almost time to get off the ship. There's already a Norwegian cruise line here, and yeah, I'm just so excited. It's 8 p.m. and it's literally so bright outside. I love spring and summertime. It's so beautiful. But okay, Arjuna's telling me we need to go so we can get off the boat and maximize our time while we are here. So let's go explore Victoria, British Columbia. Made it to the Empress Hotel, not the Pendry. I almost said the Pendry. Oh, that's nice and like
Nice.
light.
It's like cool.
What is this? I want this. I want to buy
They
this.
have that shop right there. I want to go to the shop.
Yeah, that'll be nice. When in doubt, pinky out. Alright, y'all, so we are back on the ship. We had an interesting evening in Victoria. Yeah, I'll say it was interesting. It first kind of just got off on the wrong foot. So I let you know that we were supposed to be disembarking the boat at 8 p.m. So we got ready, we got lined up, we got on the line. 8 p.m. comes and they give us a message over the comm system saying that they're still waiting for them to kind of park the boat and get clearance for us to basically exit the ship. Shouldn't be too long. We wait. It's almost 8:15 now, and this is the time that we're actually supposed to meet for our excursion. So we're getting a little bit worried, but it's okay because our excursion doesn't leave until 8:30, and they're obviously not going to leave if literally no one's there, because everyone from the ship would be the people on the excursion. So we were getting a little stressed. We haven't heard. We don't know if we're getting off the boat anytime soon or when. 8:20 comes on, or maybe closer to 8:15, and they give us another notice saying they're still trying to work on it. We're not ready to disembark yet. Just hang out in public spaces. Don't crowd the elevators, etc., etc. Okay, so we're still waiting, and we finally get let off the boat at 8:30, the time we're supposed to be leaving. So not only did we already have a very limited amount of time here in Victoria in the evening, but now the first half hour of our time here was cut because we didn't get the boat parked in time, and we couldn't get off the boat until 8:30. So I was definitely bummed. Arjuna was a little stressed about that, and that was just disappointing to right off the bat. And then we also realized that we were supposed to be back on the board at 11:30, when originally it was supposed to be 12:30. So we were supposed to have a whole additional another hour. But somewhere along the lines, they had changed that, but they didn't actually acknowledge that that change happened. So we never got notification that it was a different time that we needed to be back on the ship. They just kind of started saying 11:30 instead of 12:30. And then they also never apologize for any inconvenience of us missing a half hour of our only 3.5 hour time here in Victoria. So that was just kind of, it just left a little sour taste in our mouths because we just don't have a lot of time here. And we didn't get here until 8:30 p.m. and a lot of things were kind of closing. But nevertheless, we got off the boat and we made it to our group point meetup so we can get on the bus to take us to the Empress Hotel for our excursion. This is when some more weirdness happens. It just felt like this entire Victoria stop was an afterthought, and it honestly didn't even need to happen, because when we got to the bus, they checked us in. It was fine and dandy. And then we got over to the hotel, which was cool. But they kind of let us off, and then there was one woman there to meet us at the hotel who was supposed to help coordinate us getting to the evening tea experience. And so then our bus driver took off, and I guess he had another group to pick up, but he never actually told us what time we needed to meet back out front, what time he would come pick us up, and what time we were leaving. So we had to figure that information out on our own by having the woman who was helping us while we're at the hotel text the driver and to see when we're supposed to be meeting. So that was another thing that was just kind of come on, they are just missing some screws, I think, when it comes to the coordination and the logistics of this excursion and of this port stop in general. And then when we finally get to the tea experience, I think we were supposed to have a selection of different teas to choose from, but they just gave us one tea, which was an iced tea. So it was kind of weird to have iced tea and no hot tea options in 9:00 p.m. on a very cold spring night in Victoria. So that was weird, but the tea experience itself was good. I liked the little tea savory and sweet treats that we got, so that was good. And yeah, after that, we just kind of walked around the hotel for 5 to 10 minutes, and then we just happened to wander outside of the hotel to check in on our bus. And it was at this time we were told that we needed to be at the bus at 10:30, and it was 10:15 when we walked outside and we saw the driver was there. And my husband and we claimed 2 of the last 3 seats, and they were like, "Oh, I think we're still missing 4 people." And we're like, "How are they missing 4 people when there's only 1 seat left?" There were 2 people on our bus that weren't on it when we first got there, so they weren't even checking. We had wristbands. They weren't even checking the wristbands. They didn't have a ledger of who they were supposed to have, and we ended up leaving 15 minutes later at 10:30, 10:35 to go back to the ship, and they had left a few people behind, and the bus driver had to go back and get them after dropping us off, which was already cutting it a little bit close because we didn't arrive back to the ship until about 10:50 because there was some traffic and this and that. So it just felt really unorganized. there was only one person working at the Empress Hotel who was helping coordinate between the buses and the actual hotel experience. And she was juggling like 5 to 6 different groups that were all arriving at barely staggered times. The bus driver seemed frustrated and stressed out because he had to keep going back and forth and picking up different people. And it just seemed like they didn't know what was going on, and nobody knew who like the point person was. Nobody had a list of who they were supposed to have, or if they did, they weren't checking it. So it just felt very disorganized, and it just kind of left a sour taste in our mouth and kind of ended this part of our trip on a kind of a bad note. Like, I don't know, I just wish that things were more organized, that they didn't even need to do this Victoria stop, because by the time we were there, most of the shops in the town were closed, and there was just no use in walking around or doing anything else. And they had walking tours and bike tours and horse-drawn carriage tours, but like it was dark outside, and of course there's some pretty lights, but it was dark and cold and shops were closed. So I much rather would have had this 3.5 hours to do some more exploring in Ketchikan yesterday, and then maybe just cut this Victoria part off entirely and just ended up back in Seattle, because it just seemed like a waste to get there for 8 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. But I don't know. Arjun and I can have a good time anywhere we go, and so we tried to make the best of it. We did enjoy our little treats, and we did enjoy the iced tea that we were given, even though we didn't get a choice of iced teas. But yeah. So I'm sorry to leave this portion of the trip on such a weird, sour kind of note, but that's just kind of what it was. But we did find one little gift shop that was right at the port, and I got a stroopwafel, like a maple stroopwafel, which was nice. And my husband and I, we also got these maple cookies that we love to get. We got these last time we were in Canada when we were in Toronto over like the fall. And so we got some more of those because they were just delicious. So I guess that's a good note that we can end on for this evening. But right now it's about midnight, and I think we're just going to chill because we disembark tomorrow, like the official disembarkation back in Seattle tomorrow between 8:45 a.m. and 9:15 a.m. So we're just going to get some rest tonight, maybe hang out, watch a show, because we're not super tired. It's kind of weird. We're not like super tired yet. So we're just going to hang out for the rest of the evening in our room and get some sleep eventually, wake up early, get some breakfast in the dining room, and then get off the boat. So that's going to be pretty much the end of our cruise experience here. I'll probably give you one last wrap up tomorrow morning or when we're in Seattle, because we are going to do some fun things in Seattle. So maybe I'll show a little bit of that as well, because that'll technically be a part of our trip. Not technically the cruise, but technically, day 8 is the Seattle port stop, and some people do excursions here. So we're going to meet up with one of my best friends, Ambika. Tomorrow she's going to take us around Seattle. We're probably going to hit up a zoo. So we do have some more fun stuff that we're going to be doing before we head back to LA. So I'll show you a little bit of that. But for night, it's time for us to wind down, and I will see you in the morning. All right, y'all, good morning. We are in Seattle. This is our final day of our vacation, and we're just going to spend it exploring. We got off the ship nice and easy, super simple, made it to like the Uber drop-off area and had that Uber take us straight to our hotel. But I was planning to show you our day in Seattle, but I think this vlog is already going to be long enough, so I think I'm going to do a separate video, probably call it something like 24 hours in Seattle, and that's just going to go up probably after this video in like a week or two. So while you are with me here, I do want to say thank you so much for watching my Alaska travel vlog. I hope you learned something about a Holland America cruise. I hope maybe you were inspired to either take a cruise to Alaska or just visit. Oh, look, it's my husband laying on the bed. Hey, cutie. I hope you were maybe even inspired to take a cruise or go to Alaska or just take a vacation, because life is too short to not use your PTO. So make sure you're using that PTO, or even if you don't have any PTO, just call in sick and play hooky for a week. Who cares? But I had a great time. I'm so happy I did this bucket list trip. I hope I can do even more bucket list trips as I go into my 30s. I can't believe I'm going to be 30 and I've already crossed off this amazing trip. So I've got a lot more stuff in store. over the next few weeks and for the next decade of my life, really. So I hope you'll join me along in all of these adventures of my journey to becoming 30. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it this far, again, leave another brown heart emoji in the comments. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.